Good morning. Hey, I just want to welcome everybody for tuning in. We're really excited about this morning and having Kennrod Foundation and Dr. G on the line with two partners in education, two people that we want to just get some insights into how Kennrod is supporting education in the school system. And I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Dr. G, and she can introduce our guest, and just excited about tuning in. And one thing, if you see this and there's a comment section under the Facebook, go ahead and ask questions, because we have something special that we're going to be able to provide during the show. So we want you to just ask questions that you have about Kennrod Foundation, and there'll be a lot of things that I think you'll be very interested as we do the show. So Dr. G, the show is yours.
Thank you so much, Pete. Good morning, everyone. I can't tell you how excited I am to be live streaming with you this morning. It allows us to connect with you, and we have all been so used to seeing each other face to face. Given our current times, we're not able to do that, and so it just feels incredibly wonderful to be able to have this time this morning to share with you, to have our administrators from our two partner schools to join us to talk about how things are in this current state. So please, let's just enjoy this time together. We will have up until about an hour to be together because we want to respect everyone's time. So thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. It is my pleasure to introduce to you Dr. Janice Gardner and Dr. Dayton Hibbs. Both of them are incredible school administrators who I have come to know very well. I know that they both genuinely care for students and families and the greater community, and it is just a pleasure to have them to be a part of Kennrod, because we really, really are working in tandem together to support our students and families. Today, this is our back to school kickoff. And under normal circumstances, we are in the schools, particularly at Cross Keys, and we have everyone gathered in the media center. And I just want to paint a picture for you of what we typically have going on. We have students, we have family, we have food. We have school leaders and teachers and everyone who is excited about the start of school. We have them to come, and we really just spend time talking about what we can expect for Kennrod. Well, those times have changed at this moment because of COVID-19, but what has not changed is our commitment to serve, our commitment to make sure that we're doing the very best that we possibly can for our students and for everyone involved in their care. So I just want you to know that today is our back to school kickoff, and we are very excited about the 2021 school year. We are going to be having these Facebook Live streaming sessions once per month with different presenters each month, thanks to Mr. Pete Kane and his company. They have agreed to work with us, to partner with us. And this is just how awesome it is to be a part of Kennrod and to be able to have community leaders join with us so that we can have opportunities for our schools and our students. So thank you, Pete. All right. Without much delay, I do want to go a little bit further just to let you know that it is important for you to make your comments or ask questions during the time that we're together this morning, because we have an incredible prize, we believe, for those of you who participate. And we have one drawing for one person to be able to receive our prize, which has also been donated to Kennrod as a part of our back to school celebration. So at this time, I'm going to turn it back over to Pete so that we can get started with our program.
Awesome. Thank you, Kelly. Yeah, it's exciting. When I met with you first and you were sharing Kennrod and your vision and what you were doing in the community, I mean, I don't think anybody that people want to be involved. They want to help. They want to support the kids. They want to do whatever they can. So it's my pleasure to help serve in this capacity. So I know there's a lot of people thinking about like, what was that first day like? And, there's so much going on. So we'll start with Dr. Gardner. What was that first day like? Share with our viewers what challenges you had and what went on.
Well, at Cross Keys, our first day was a half day. We wanted to use that day for our teachers and students to get acclimated to the virtual platform, as well as introductions. We did have technical glitches throughout the district, so a lot of our students they were not able to log in, and a lot of parents were a little frustrated, especially those parents whose kids are new to the district. It was really hard with those temporary passwords. But day two was also a half day. A lot of those issues were resolved. So we hope as we do our first full day starting tomorrow, because in DeKalb, Wednesdays are for small groups, professional learnings for teachers, students, parent conferences. We hopefully, as we progress towards tomorrow, is the first full day that the technology issues would have lessened and more of our students will be able to log in. The biggest problem we face now, the vendor is unable to give us the time books in the timeline that was predetermined. So now we have students that just won't have that the Chromebook access. But at my school, parents will have the opportunity to come up and get hard copies of any materials. We will have bins, drop boxes in front of the school, and my principal is there to take in the paperwork as well, scan it, and email it to the teachers. So the first day, it has proved to be some challenges, first 2 days, but we know as time progresses, we will work through that.
Awesome. How about Dayton? How about at your school? What did you experience?
Our first day was very quiet. And when you spend your entire profession in schools, and that first day is always an exciting time, and you're used to a lot of sounds and events and things like that are occurring in your school. We traditionally have a back to school pep rally on the first day of school too, which is a big event. So I think for a lot of us, the first day of school was a big success, but at the same time, we really had to adjust because although I'm in my office right now, the hallways are really quiet because our kids are at home. So we are into our third week of school. And the benefit that our school district had is we got a lot of practice in last spring. So when we initially had to close, in terms of like our digital platforms and all those procedures and processes, we really tried to learn from last spring so that we could open as smoothly as possible this year. So, but just as my colleague iterated, there's always challenges, when you're dealing with new students and new families. But overall, a very smooth start to the school year, even though it's way too quiet.
Awesome. Thank you. So what about like programming that, how has COVID-19 changed that? And Janice, share with us maybe what y'all are seeing at DeKalb and your specific school in the programming.
Well, our schedules have been modified for the virtual learning for high schools that are on the 4-block schedule. So that's huge. Also, athletics have been temporarily suspended. So that's a huge part of the fall semester in high schools. So right now they are delayed until September, and we don't know how that's going to look. So just a lot of changes. I know our PE coaches, they are challenged virtually, getting those kids active and engaged and motivated. But I will say that we have provided a lot of opportunities for student engagement through the virtual platform. We're encouraging student collaboration. We're also having even virtual platforms and workshops for our parents to keep them engaged and to make it so they can easily help their students at home. So those are just a few of the changes that we've seen off the bat that we think that will really impact our families at our school.
Awesome. So Dave, what about yourself with the programming at Marietta?
Yes, we're in a similar situation in terms of unknowns with sports. We have started to some degree in terms of like practicing and having proper protocols in place in order to do that. We currently have our volleyball team that is currently practicing and preparing to play. So we've tried the best that we can within our constraints to still provide our students with opportunities. So sports are still a go for us, although some of our programs are delayed in terms of when their actual season will start. Soon, we're going to, although our students right now are virtual, we are going to start a tutorial program where students will be able to come into the building in very small groups to receive in-person tutoring. And I know that's going to be very well received by our students and families. In terms of academics, we've done the best job that we can to still provide all of our students with the same academic programming that they would receive during the regular school year. So they have all their same classes, the same teachers, etc. It's just delivered in a virtual way. So in terms of our academic programming and things like that, we're trying to remain very consistent, but certainly our extracurricular activities have some constraints that we're trying to work through.
Awesome. How about like with technology? We all know if we're, if we didn't grow up with it, there's some challenges there. How about technology access, Janice? What have you seen there in the school so far?
So far, I would say roughly 85% of our students have Chromebooks. Our biggest issue would be our new staff members awaiting their Chromebooks. But all students will have Chromebooks, hopefully by the first week in September. Also, we are providing access points for Wi-Fi. So those homes that don't have Wi-Fi, the district is providing access points so the families can use their devices that we issue.
Awesome. How about yourself, Dayton? What have you seen with technology and how you guys have implemented it?
Yes, certainly going back to last spring, that probably was to some extent, our biggest hurdle in terms of time frame and getting devices into the hands of our families. So we did start a Chromebook distribution process last spring, and then we continued it into the summer months in order to ensure that our students had what they needed along with hotspots. But as you can imagine, just about every district in the country is trying to get hotspots and things like that. So as those things come in, we deliver them to our families. We even have school buses in our community that are Wi-Fi enabled.
Oh, wow.
To provide another point of access. So we've tried to do everything we can reasonably in order to ensure that our students have the tools that they need to be successful at this time.
What would you say, like with our virtual platform and what we've had to adapt to, how is the instruction with the teachers? Is there anything there you can share? What are they doing different? I guess you're training them. I know my friend who's a teacher said he had extensive training on really what does virtual look like and what does that instruction look like. So what about, Dr. Gardner, in your school, what have you had to do to get teachers prepared for that?
We had 3 professional learning days before our official pre-planning start. And it was required for everyone, teachers, paras, administrators. Mm-hmm. And we had to walk through what synchronous learning is, what is asynchronous learning, the 5 E's of instruction, what it looks like, rigorous instruction looks like through a virtual platform. And it will be ongoing. We had a lot of teachers who, they did the bare minimum when it came to technology. So that was needed. And they surveyed us over the summer and teachers expressed the need for more training. So I think our teachers are very well prepared. And it's just a matter of getting the glitches worked out, that portion, but our teachers are very well prepared. And I think it's going to be an ongoing training that we'll need to help keep our teachers and our students comfortable using the different platforms that we've been approved to use.
That's awesome. I know in the business community, I've heard a number of times that people have expressed to me, because I'm in the digital space, so I have been talking about it for years, but they said, it's not as intimidating as I thought. And I think in our mind, we think, Zoom was strange. Now it's common. It's,
Right.
Starbucks is. I mean, everybody using it, and they're getting comfortable with that. So, it's in that respect, I think it's moved us forward to get us used to or exposed to virtual. So I think that's pretty cool. Dayton, what about yourself as you look at that and what y'all have done at your school system, your school?
Yes, the whole situation around COVID is horrible, right? It's a pandemic, and it's had major impact on our community and country. However, I'm kind of a glass half full person, and you certainly want to, when you take something that's of this magnitude, you definitely, at least respectfully, want to grow out of it. And so I think one thing that this situation has forced us to do is to perhaps take some steps that maybe we should have even been taking previously. So in terms of staff development, in terms of growing our skill set as educators in how to properly leverage technology, I can't even put into words how proud I am of our staff in our school district, because a lot of our teachers, in addition to the staff development that we've been providing, our staff in of themselves are one of our greatest assets and resources. So they've really taken it and said, hey, I need to go out there and be assertive and try to learn as much as I can, in addition to what the district is providing us. And then we also have means within our school for our colleagues to learn from each other. So I think if there is a silver lining out of a horrible situation, is that we've been able to grow professionally and just, kind of add to their educator toolbox, if you will. And of course, we wouldn't want this situation to happen at all, but I can tell you that coming out of it, our teachers are going to be even more skilled than ever before.
That's exciting. I mean, I always like deadlines because I work on deadlines. And I think, if we're forced to know that we got to get something completed, we do it in most cases. And I think now being thrown into the virtual world overnight, we're figuring it out, and we're going to come out of it with a lot more skills. And that's a very positive thing.
I think too, if I could, public education sometimes has a certain perception, right, that they're kind of stuck. And I think what this has shown is how incredible public educators are and how adaptable and flexible that they actually can be. So again, horrible situation that happened, but our teachers are rising to the occasion in our school district as well as my colleagues.
Yeah, that is a very positive silver lining to what we're going through. Let me just take a minute break here. I'd love for you, Kelly, to share how can people get involved, and what does it look like if you're out there and you care about education, you want to help kids. How can people get involved in Kennrod Foundation?
We love to have people involved. Under normal circumstances, we have people coming to our schools as guests, particularly practitioners coming, sharing their career journey, sharing information about their particular company. It's really about who we are, making sure that we're staying connected and that kids are able to actually see people in a chosen field and ask them questions and just really hang on to the words in terms of what they did to get to where they are. Not only that, we have conducted parent workshops, and we need people in the community to come and assist with that. So there are many, many ways to get involved with Kennrod, even in this situation that we're in now. As I said before, when I opened up, we have been reaching out to people who can serve as donors to provide us with assistance so that we can have added resources for our schools. And we're doing that. Both of our schools that are here, they know that they can ask us about different things that they need. And we work as an organization, we work to try to secure those needs. So if there's anyone out there who has something that they would like to donate, or if they have some volunteer interest, we would love for them to contact us through our website. There is a contact us section on our website. Just put the information there and we will receive it and contact you as soon as possible.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you, Kelly. So what about, the engagement? In my business, it's about, the customer engagement and getting people involved. So what do you think, Dr. Gardner, what are you doing to help the students engage, and maybe even the parents too, in a virtual setting?
We are really this year kicking off our wraparound services to reach our families. And we know that our community at Cross Keys, we've been very hard hit with the COVID-19 pandemic. So we will launch virtual mental health services in September. We will have our kindness closet up and running, where we can do curbside pickups of toiletries, school supplies, and in the near future, even food items. With our students, we are hoping to get someone to come in and do virtual career talks, virtual college prep, anyone who can offer anything to our virtual platform to keep our students and families engaged, as well as our teachers facilitating peer collaboration among the students. We want them to have that same sense of pride that they would have virtually that we would have if we were meeting in the building each day. So we're even hoping by September to have students doing recorded announcements just to help our kids and our staff feel connected. Mm-hmm. Every little bit helps in times like these. So we're hoping to get that up and running in the next 30 days.
Oh, that's awesome. Great to hear. Dane, how about yourself with the engagement of students and maybe parents?
Sure. And again, I think, I kind of go back to our practice run, if you will, in last spring when we had to suddenly close and to kind of see where those gaps were with our families in terms of those who are engaging with us and those who are not. Just like the Metro Atlanta area, the Marietta City School District is extremely diverse, and we serve a lot of needs. And that certainly is one of our strengths as a school district. But from day one, we've started with food service to all of our families who need that. We have, I've even repurposed some staff. So like for folks who are traditionally maybe in like a paraprofessional role, I transitioned them into virtual learning mentors. So they all have a caseload of students now to where they are responsible for checking in and mentoring with students virtually to make sure that those students are engaged on a daily basis and working with those families. The reality of the situation is that we have some families who are really struggling through this because they have to work, their child is at home, they want to make sure that their child is learning, they want to be great parents, and we have to partner with them in order to help them do that. So we have even repurposed staff in order to kind of fill that gap that we identified last spring, and to also working with our counseling staff to be able to provide mental health services as well. So that's an excellent question, and we can't forget, even for our staff, and there's even a trauma-informed training for our staff as well. We can't forget about the adults too, right? And everything that they've gone through so that they can be the absolute best that they can be for our students.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I don't know where I heard it, but they were talking about adjusting the day to accommodate, parents at home working, and the hours were stretched where they provided some teachers some evening hours to bring that education into the homes. Is that something y'all have considered or maybe even doing?
I know the county that I live in, Henry County, they're doing that. We do have Wednesdays, our students are not in their virtual classrooms. They're using that time for tutoring with their teachers, parent conferences, student conferences. Our IEP meetings, SST meetings, 504 meetings. So we have flexibility that way. Also, with the modified schedule that the students are on currently, their day ends at 1:50. So the teacher still has that afternoon block for more one-on-one tutoring and to assist parents to work with their students at home. So the modified schedule has built in some flexibility for not only the students, but the parents.
Awesome. Great. Dayton, anything in with y'all have been discussed to accommodate the I guess the work at home parents that we're seeing?
Yes, we did a couple of things. One, we went to more of a block schedule in the virtual environment. So that means less number of classes per day, but longer class periods. And the purpose of that was we wanted students actively completing their work and getting feedback and assistance from teachers in real time, right? So instead of like a teacher having a live a session for 20 minutes and then the students have to go off on their own, we actually have that occurring within the context of the class period. And that's been incredibly beneficial because it's not a parent coming home and then their child has a bunch of homework with no teacher to help. Then on top of that, we have a similar process on Fridays where our teachers have office hours and students have independent study time. So the irony of the situation, students probably have more direct access to their teacher in virtual learning in terms of independent, individualized help than what they would do during the context of the regular school day, because we have protected an entire day for that independent study and for teachers to have office hours. So we're hoping that helps that need as well. If a student falls behind or they need additional assistance, that they can get that direct help from their classroom teachers.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, you see a lot of pivoting and changing and figuring out, what is needed to maximize the educational opportunities for the students. Let's take a break just for a second, Kelly. What about like professionals that might be listening? And I always want to encourage people that have come across this, share this with people that you know that might be interested in the Partners in Education, and professionals that can bring their story or their skill set to Kennrod Foundation, because I think it's so important. It's no secret that kids have to kind of hear from real people about what a career looks like. So what kind of professionals are you looking for, Kelly?
We have had professionals in an array of backgrounds, financial management, engineering, HR professionals. We've had an artist. We've had, a nurse. We've had multiple career fields where people have actually come and spoken with the kids and actually done workshops with them. We've had college leaders to come and speak with the kids. So I would say, if you are interested in really being a part of something special, really being able to work firsthand with students and parents and the school as a whole, please contact us. There are so many needs. As I listen to Dr. Gardner and Dr. Hibbs talk about the programming that has taken place for this school year, I am just beaming with pride, because it really does speak to us as educators doing whatever needs to be done, no matter what happens. And, we're just going to be there for our kids. And so what I would do is ask anyone who is interested, whether that be being a volunteer in some way by coming to the school, if there's something going on, or participating virtually, we would love to hear from you. We ask that you get involved, go to our website, go to the Contact Us page, and fill out the information there, and you will certainly be contacted. We do have a background check process that we would ask of the person or persons to be involved. But other than that, we just want people to be here right with us, because we know that the more people who are involved, the more we're able to help our students and families.
Oh, that's awesome. So if you know of a professional that might be interested, just share this. It'll be a replay after we finish, but share this with people on your Facebook and get some more exposure to people that don't even know that this is an area they can serve. And I think you'll obviously the people getting it will appreciate it, because sometimes people just don't know where they can help in education and with the students.
And, I do feel like I should add also, Pete, that a big part of our programming is field trips. And kids always look forward to field trips. And right now, we're not taking in-person field trips. But if there's a company that would like to do something virtually, please reach out to us. I'm sure that our kids would also appreciate that as well, because we've been able to get real insight into Lockheed Martin Company and UPS and Clorox. I mean, really replicable companies who are out here doing great work. They took us in and actually gave our students access to their facilities and their employees, and they shared so much information that I know our students will appreciate for many years to come. So if there are opportunities available with companies that would allow us to do something virtually, we would really, really appreciate that as well at this time.
Oh, that's awesome. Appreciate that, sharing that with us. So back to the virtual thing, I think that's a topic of central theme, but the monitoring, it's always good to get feedback. So what do you see in Dr. Gardner as it relates to how are you monitoring that teaching experience and, making adjustments where needed, I guess?
Our teachers were given a virtual walkthrough form on what is expected of their duties and responsibilities as it relates to virtual teaching. They were also told that principals, assistant principals, we are also have a school improvement team from the state of Georgia that has been working with our school to increase our graduation rate the past year, that they will all be dropping in on the online classrooms. So it will be monitored the same way if we had the in-person piece, surprise visit, and just to see it from the student's standpoint, and to just monitor how everything is working out for teacher and student.
Oh, that's awesome. Dayton, how about yourself?
We try to have a variety of ways to get feedback. The perception of one might be different than the perception of another. So one thing that's really cool about our virtual platform is it's allowed me the opportunity to engage with all of our students. So we have a learning management system that allows me to email all of our kids and they can respond to me. And in all of my correspondence, I tell them if there's anything I can help you with, to go ahead and reply back. Now, it's a bit of a risk, because if all 1,400 did that, I would be up all night trying to read email. But it's been a lot of fun kind of seeing that interaction that it's just different than it was in the past. But similar to Dr. Gardner, here at our middle school and throughout our schools in our district, there's a very supportive, I guess I would say, evaluative process. We are, again, trying to take the most supportive tone that we can with our teachers, because this is a new environment. However, between coaches and administrators, we are very knowledgeable of what's happening in the virtual classrooms, and then we're able to provide additional support if needed, and at the same time catch some really neat things happening that can then be shared with their other colleagues. So it's not just even about trying to find, say, things that where improvement is. It's also about trying to capture those really cool moments that you can share with your staff.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So how about this question? So your personally biggest challenge as you entered the school year, what do you think in your mind it was, and did you handle it in a way that you can share with our viewers? How about you, Dr. Gardner?
For me personally, being the student support specialist for Cross Keys, my job really involves a lot of face-to-face interaction with my students. So now I'm going to rely on the teachers and our paras sort of being a go-between and letting me know if a student maybe academically is slipping or not showing up on the virtual platforms. I'll have to reach out to parents more often and just really open up the lines of communication more frequently so the students, we don't want to fall too far behind. So for me, that check-in where I could go and check and connect in person, that has been taken away. So I'm really having to rely on attendance reports and, letting the teachers email me and be more communication. Text me. We all have Google numbers now. We have made everything public for our parents. We have translators on ready. So that communication piece is huge. With us being, virtually now.
Oh, that's awesome. Dayton, how about yourself?
It's an excellent question. I think for me, I walk out of the office every day and I think to myself, have I done everything I can? And when you're in some ways, a new space, you are trying to anticipate things. You're trying to, provide as much support as you can. And I think the difficulty in that is always kind of having this sense, is there something I'm missing, right? Because it's new. And I think in addition to that, when we're in person, educators are very sensing people. So we can walk up and down our hallways and really get a strong sense of how everyone is doing, right? How our students are doing and how our staff is doing. So while I do have some staff in the building, I don't have that necessarily immediate response that I would be able to get when the students are in the building. So I think another obstacle or another concern that although I have ways to communicate with kids, even ways I never had before, it is kind of like the feeling part of our job, right? And to be able to interact with people, interact with students, and to always challenge ourselves in a virtual environment. Is there a better way that we can do that just to make sure everyone's okay? And that they are in a good space, and that, is there anything else we can do? A lot of times as educators, we literally anticipate needs. Sometimes students don't even need to tell us, right? But because we're there with them, we can kind of anticipate things and get them help. So I think that's a challenge right now because we're not interacting in that way.
Yeah, that's a good point. You are operating in such a different world that the things that we relied on, that visual and you can sense things is not there. So you have to change your, antennas to, be able to get that feedback you need to see how the kids are doing and what areas need to be addressed. What would you say, if we fast forwarded to the end of the year, what would you like to see happen, with yourself professionally and in your school system? If it was, I don't want to say a perfect world, but what would be your goal as you fast forward in this environment? Janice?
I would like every household to have Wi-Fi and the technology component. I would like to see going forward, post-COVID, that we do blended learning. So the technology is not a surprise. Now, I would love to see that. That was huge in my graduate studies. So I think our students are quite versed and capable, and our teachers will be. So I would like to see that going forward.
I love it. I love that. Dayton, how about yourself?
Well, my instinctive response to that is at the end of the year, I have something called the 8th grade walk, right? And it's kind of like this. It's a rite of passage where our students literally walk from our middle school to our high school. And we take over a major street in our community with a police escort. And all of our students are taking that transitional walk from being a middle school student to becoming a high school student. So I sure hope that is where we are, because our 8th graders last year missed out on that. And it's just such an important event for students to have that sense of accomplishment. So I'm probably saying that kind of selfishly, and I could not agree with Dr. Gardner anymore. I think from a professional standpoint in our profession, what can we learn now that we're still going to apply once we get back to in-person learning? From the other perspective of that is, man, I just want people in the building. I want students in the building. I want to be able to get back to normal. I want to have pep rallies. I want to have some fun. So it's a little different right now to accomplish those things. So I think a goal that I would have, even though it's perhaps out of my control to a large degree, is that we can get back to some sense of normalcy for our students and our teachers and the entire Marietta community.
Yeah, that's good. It's I know I was talking to a client and they said, something about coming to see them. And I was like, yeah, when? It's like, I want to have that personal interaction, and we crave it. And when it's taken away, we want it even more. And I'm sure the high of the first day with the kids and the excitement, that didn't happen. So you want that to eventually happen, because there's nothing better than the human interaction and, being in that environment. It just gives you, I'm sure, an incredible high of excitement. So what about, like, as we close, can you share, like, if people are listening, just give us a summary of what you thought, as you jumped into the virtual, environment, what things would you like the viewers to understand from your perspective, and that you can, share with them today?
I would encourage patience on everyone's end and being flexible. That was the main thing that we stressed during pre-planning, that we just want to be flexible. We're not rigid, and to be mindful of everyone's home situation is different, and that we are really going to work with our community. We're going to work with our families. We're working with our students, and that's what we're encouraging, just flexibility and patience.
I love that. That's true in business, and I tell my clients that: be flexible and be patient, and things do work out. That's great. How about Peyton, yourself?
Yes, I could not agree with that anymore. I say over and over and over again that while we certainly are not perfect, we are certainly giving it a perfect effort. So, like, if something is not going right, provide us with the flexibility and patience to be able to get it right. Because our intention is not to not provide the best experience that we can for our students. So yes, that's definitely a message I would want everyone to hear loud and clear. And at the same time, we understand that we have to be patient, understanding what our families are going through. So it certainly is a two-way street in terms of those expectations.
Awesome. Dr. G, turn it back to yourself. Tell us again, a month from now, the date, and who's going to be our guest next month on the show.
Wonderful. We are going to have Keith Hardy. Keith Hardy is the VP of First Citizens Bank, and he is going to talk to us about banking basics. It is going to be an incredible opportunity for students, families, community friends to just really have an opportunity to ask questions and learn as much information as possible from Keith Hardy. So he's going to be joining us on September the 23rd, same time, right here on Facebook, live streaming at 10 o'clock a.m.
Awesome. I know Keith, and that'll be a great show, because he's a wealth of information and a down-to-earth guy that just connects with people. So that'll be an awesome show to tune into. And just in closing, Kelly, just wrap up a little bit about the foundation, what you're looking for. And then I want to encourage everybody, hit the share button and share this with some of your friends. Let them know about what Kennrod is doing in the community of education, and get the word out, because we can use technology, this platform, to help expand the word of mouth, which happens in a lot of cases. But I always tell people, you got to be able to intentionally give people an opportunity to serve. And if they don't know this exists, they can't serve. So bring us home, Kelly.
Okay.
Tell us
Okay.
a little bit about, and then we'll
Well,
close.
I just first of all want to thank Dr. Gardner and Dr. Hibbs for taking time to be with us this morning. I know how busy you both are, especially in these times with um, the video of classrooms and working with students and your staff. So thank you so much because of what you're doing and for just being so involved in Kennrod. I am so glad to be a part of what you're doing and to be able to share in your efforts to make things better for those whom you serve. I also want to just say that I am thinking of all of the teachers and the school administrators, your entire staff, because I know that it has been a transition. Even though I'm not there day to day, I know that it has been a transition for everyone. And I just want you all to know that Kennrod is thinking of you, and we are wishing you nothing but safety and all the best in this school year. As was mentioned before, this is very different for us because as educators, we feed on the energy of others. And Pete, as you said so eloquently, there's something about the first day of school. You know, it causes us to not sleep very well because we're so anxious the night before the first day of school. And it's all the buzz, as David was talking about earlier, the people in the hallway, you know, the faces you hadn't seen since the end of the previous school year. And when I think about the start of the school year and seeing our Kennrod students, honestly, it makes me sad. Honestly, it makes me sad because I look forward to coming to the schools, meeting with them, hugging them, hearing their stories, introducing them to our special guests, taking them on the field trips, the conversations to our trip and back to the school. There's just so many memories. And so I just want everyone to know that although we're not in that position right now, we are working daily. Kennrod is working daily to do the best that we can to provide experiences that are positive for our students and families in schools. You all are very, very important to us. And we will continue to do that throughout the year. So every month, you can expect to see us, you know, online through Facebook live streaming with a special guest sharing information that may be beneficial to you and or your family and friends. So look out for that. We'll continue to promote it. Also, if you know someone who desires to be a donor in some way and would like to reach out to us, please tell them about us. We do, based on the information that our schools provide in terms of what their needs are, we need donors. And so if you know of someone who can help, we encourage you to do that. Also, we recently launched $20 in 2020. So if you know someone who just wants to make a charitable donation of $20, we encourage you to do that because it is the donations that make it possible for us to continue to do our work. We still have students who are being tutored at our Kumon and Sylvan Learning Centers. And the more that we can gain support for those efforts, we would really, really appreciate it. As we prepare to close, Pete, do you know if we have any comments or questions?
I might have a technical difficulty, so it might have blocked it.
Okay.
So what we'll do is they'll be on the Facebook page, and Kelly will look at them and be able to select one. And
Okay.
I did just put up on the screen, I know it's kind of small, your partners in education. Can you just give a quick shout out to the group that supports you at Kennrod and the organizations? I know it's on the upper corner there, but you know who they are.
Okay, I'm not able to see all of them, but we're just so proud. Our school partners in education are Cross Keys High School, Marietta Middle School, and Milford Elementary School. These are the three schools that we partner with and we support. And we can't say enough about these school administrators and the work that they do alongside their teachers and staff. So we are very, very appreciative of them. Also, we partner with select Kumon and Sylvan Learning Centers to provide tutoring to our students, high quality tutoring, I might add, at one of 4 locations throughout the metropolitan Atlanta area. Those center directors are having in-person and or virtual tutoring sessions with students currently. And there we go. And we're just so proud that we're able to offer this opportunity for our students. And you see the list of them there. I can tell you most recently in the essence of time, we recently had a summer intern through Georgia State University. Georgia State has been an incredible partner to help us with student interns. And our most recent intern was Iferton, who helped us launch our updated website. But all of these partners, Silver Penny, Cars for Kids, all of these partners have just been incredible and have been the reason why we've been able to have the success that we have today. So thank you to all of our partners. I do want to wrap up by letting everyone know I'm not sure if we have comments in our Facebook section or not. I will certainly check that when we wrap up the live streaming. But if not, we'll hold off with this prize to the next piece because we really want to make sure we have enough participation before we launch it. But I will tell everyone what it is. We've been so fortunate to have a voucher here, and I'm going to show it. The prize will be a one-night stay at the Omni Hotel at the Battery, and it is valued at $250. All right. And so all you have to do is participate in our live streaming by making a comment or asking a question. And it is our desire to be able to have some type of giveaway after the session. And so we'll hold off on giving this one out for this month, but we will add it to our September streaming. And hopefully we have other prizes along the way as well. So if you were not able to tune in today, please plan to participate on September the 23rd and hear from Mr. Keith Hardy with Banking Basics. Thank you all so much. Again, Pete, thank you. You've just been incredible as usual. Dr. Hibbs, Dr. Gardner, thank you for all that you do. Special thanks to you and your teams, and I wish everyone to continue to be safe.
All right. Everyone have a great rest of the day, and thank y'all for tuning in and listening.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.